Broadcasting worldwide to every nation, this is the Gospel America Television Network. Broadcasting to every nation on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and online at gospelamerica.net. It's time for Real Talk with the Jenkins, featuring Lady MJ, Pastor Marcella Jenkins, and Dr. G, Dr. Gary Jenkins. And now, let's join Real Talk with the Jenkins.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins. Now, somebody that's not a Jenkins is going to be appearing on the show pretty quickly. She's a very, very special person.
Yes.
And you know what, Lady MJ? She brought the house down last Saturday over at Jesus Christ Church in Ballinger. And we're going to save her name for last. But powerful, powerful person. And I'm honored to have met her. And you're about to meet her soon. It's all coming up next on Real Talk with the Jenkins.
Real Talk with the Jenkins. We'll be right back after these messages.
My name is Travis with Grace Transmissions. Here at Grace Transmissions, we have a reputation for customer service, and we've been serving the San Angelo area for over 45 years. Our focus is you, the customer. So whether you need a diagnostic check or a complete transmission service repair, we're here for you. Grace Transmissions, where service meets quality, and that's our #1 priority.
We are here when you need us.
Grace Transmissions, 1202 Pulliam Street, San Angelo. Are you ready to produce your own TV show? If it's a television commercial you need, then the Gospel America Television Network Studios is the place where your visual vision comes alive. You can meet with your production team in our warm and comfortable suite. And then you can start the production process using our green screen digital technology. Your broadcast will air on Roku, Fire TV, and online. We produce many types of TV commercials, like the Auto Pros Body Shop. Maybe you're looking to produce a medical commercial like the Office of Dr. Peter Chang. Pastors, you can produce your broadcast airing on Roku or Fire TV. Call 203-410-6053 for studio booking. The Gospel America TV Network.
Hello, my name is William Narrow. This is my lovely wife, Ada Narrow. We are the Auto Pros Body Shop, located at 528 West Avenue in San Angelo, Texas. Our phone number is 325-947-7767. Please call us if you're in need of a body shop, if you're in need of collision repair or hail damage repair. Many of our services are done in-house, from paintless dent repair, auto glass, vehicle diagnostics. Why that's important at a shop is you want to be sure to catch those electronic repairs issues before the car goes home, and you don't want the car to come back the next day because it's got an issue cooling or it's got an issue with a seat belt or an airbag. You always want to catch those before the car leaves. It's almost like, the analogy I like to use is having an x-ray done on your arm after they remove the cast to make sure the bone is completely healed before they send you home as a patient. That's why on all of our cars we do a pre and a post scan to make sure the repair is completed 100% completely to ensure a proper repair.
And now back to Real Talk with MJ and Dr. G.
Well, we are back, and we have a special guest here today. Her name is Mayor Dawni Seymore, and we want to welcome her to the Real Talk with the Jenkins.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Man.
I'm glad you're having me. I'm glad to be here.
All righty.
My first time.
And that's you did a good job.
Great job.
So, you were going to ask her something about?
You're the mayor of Ballinger,
Yes.
and you've been mayor there how long?
I just entered into my second term
Awesome.
in November, which will make it my 3rd year.
Okay. And I kind of got stuck there with some words.
How did
you decide that you wanted to run for mayor?
Well, it kind of happened by accident, really. We were having some trouble with our city management, a little fussing and fighting going on between the city council and the city manager at the time and the mayor. So there was a spot coming up on the city council, and I said I would run for city council. And someone messaged me through Facebook and said, hey, would you consider actually running for mayor? And I said, well, I'll think about it. And so I thought about it. I asked my husband what he thought about it, and then started attending regular city council meetings, and it was really kind of the wild, wild west, really, at the city council meetings. And I saw that something new needed to happen. And actually, I was fairly new to Ballinger. I hadn't been there but about 3 years. And so I thought, well, maybe they need some fresh blood here in town. And I threw my hat in the ring, and I won by 3 votes, and actually was the very first female mayor ever for Ballinger meetings. I do have a vote, an equal vote with the city council members. So I don't do a lot of day-to-day. That's done by the city manager and the staff there at City Hall. So I didn't get any training, and it's kind of just learn as you go, trial by fire, I like to say. So jump in the deep end and see if you can swim.
So talk to us about you. What are the things that are near and dear to your heart?
Wow. Well, there's quite a few things. There are quite a few things. First, I would say God is my number one. Jesus, I love Jesus. My children, and I am very passionate about domestic violence awareness. I am a survivor of domestic violence, was married for 15 years to my first husband, who was very, very violent and abusive. And so I'm very passionate about that, very passionate about speaking to women and young girls, too, to recognize the signs of domestic violence even before you get there. Because there are some signs, and there were signs in my relationship that I just didn't know until much, much later.
We'll talk to us about it.
Did you meet your husband in high school? Did you meet him outside of high school, or?
We were living in small town Oklahoma, in 2 little towns, right side by side. So I met him through a friend of mine that I went to school with. She worked with him in the little town that he lived. And we went in one day for her to pick up her paycheck, and he happened to be working, and we met. So that's how I met him. And it just went from there. And a lot of people like to ask me, well, how did you even get into this type of relationship? Because you seem like a really strong, independent person. And I am. But I was born into a situation that from early on was abusive. I believe, too, that my religion that I grew up in was very abusive and controlling, and taught women that we were, that the man, our husband, was really our God on earth. And that we had to submit completely to him, right? And women couldn't cut their hair, couldn't wear makeup, couldn't wear pants, and you couldn't go to the movies, nothing. So it was very...
Sounds like the church.
Very controlling and very abusive. So I was kind of primed for it, really. And a lot of abuse in other ways happened whenever I was young, starting at about 2 years old.
Wow.
So I didn't recognize, I guess I didn't know who I was. I didn't recognize the signs of abuse.
So how did you meet your husband? Did you meet him in high school or outside of high school?
I met my first husband through a mutual friend. He worked with her in the neighboring town where he lived. And I was with her one day when she went to go pick her checkup, and that's how I met him. And it just kind of grew from there. And yeah, that's how I met him.
And so you were explaining to us before when we met you Tuesday night. or you made in your, Thursday night.
Thursday night, yes.
When you gave your little spiel, you're explaining that you're very abused. Do you think because you grew up young in abusive situations, and you mentioned about the church, how the denomination that you were in was also very controlling, very abusive, that you mistaken abuse for love?
Possibly. He didn't abuse before I married him.
Okay.
That's not entirely true either, but in the beginning, he showed a lot of attention to me.
Okay.
And seemed very possessive of me.
Okay.
And explained that because he loved me so much, it was hard to see me speaking with other people, especially of the male side. And so I took that as, oh my goodness, he loves me so much. I didn't recognize that was a sign of an abusive, controlling personality.
Yeah.
So there was one instance where we were together, and we had not yet married, and I was leaving my job because we were going to be getting married and move, and we were going to be moving away. So I was quitting my job, and my job was going to throw a going away party for me. Well, he got angry about that because they were giving me attention.
Oh.
And made me call in sick to work that day.
Oh, wow.
And then later, and so I missed my own farewell party at work. And then later that evening, he did like throw me against the wall. But at that point, I was already too deep in, right? And I loved him.
Even though he was treating you like that, you still loved him?
Yeah, sadly. I don't like to admit it, honestly. I really don't. But yes, at the time, I loved him so deeply, and I looked at that situation, and he convinced me that it was my fault that he got so angry.
Yes.
And I was very insecure because of my upbringing and the way that my life had been up to that point. I was really deeply insecure, and so I was easily convinced.
So, and this is the trap that I think that most women, now I've dealt with domestic violence as an interceder or protector. I don't like bullies, and I definitely I detest any man that would mistreat a woman verbally or physically. So, having had this background, one of the things, tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm not getting it right, but when women fall in love, they fall in love deeply.
Yes.
And you heard the phrase, love covers a multitude of sins, so to speak. That's a Bible verse, but in the natural, you really don't see a person for who or what they really are while you're emotionally attached to them. Is that a fair assessment, or is that something that I'm kind of off base on?
No, I think that's fair, and I do think that for women, when we love, we give it everything we've got. Mm-hmm. We do. And also, due to my religion, once I married him, it wasn't an option for me to divorce him, because by divorcing him, I was basically signing my little slip of paper that says I go straight to hell. I was irredeemable at that point, right? And it wasn't an option. So your church, or the religion that you were in at that time, kind of perpetuated this whole thing. Absolutely.
By preaching a doctrine that says, well, if you divorce your husband, you're committing adultery, or you're going to cause anybody that marries you is going to be committing adultery. Right. So now you're spiritually and emotionally, you're feeling stuck.
Yes.
And you felt like, I got to stay in it because I don't want to go to hell.
Right. Absolutely. And at that point, too, when I married him, my parents had already passed away, too, so I had no one to turn to.
Okay.
No one, and my church just told me, basically, they reiterated the narrative that he gave me, and that it was my fault, that I was too loud, I was too opinionated, I was too independent, and I was labeled early on in my childhood even from my church as rebellious because I questioned things.
Yes,
So,
yes.
He probably called
Yes.
you Jezebel.
I was called Jezebel.
I think I went to the same church. I went to the same church you went.
Dr. G, this is a talking with Mayor Dawni. This is very broad because she can cover so many areas as being a mayor and also as being abused. So we're not going to have her come back on our show and either talk about her being mayor or talk about her being, her life coming up, because we only got 25 minutes.
I know, but it's just everything she's saying is so good.
It's so good. It's so important.
And it is. So down the road, we won't ask you to come right away, but
Yeah.
in the near future, we'd like to have you come back
I would be welcome.
and
I mean,
share
love to
more.
come back.
And hopefully, we'll have an audience then. We'll have some
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
There's some people that need to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
Your words were very powerful that Saturday and again this past week. And that's why so many people are trying to get your number so they can call
Yes.
you. And I was one of them. I was like, I told myself, we got to get her. Because I know the difference between an authentic person
Yes.
and a fake.
Yes.
You are the real deal. You're very warm, approachable, loving, and yet you have the experience behind you that you share to help other women and even some men.
Yes.
There's some guys been out there got abused too.
Yes.
I won't tell you about the time I had a hammer thrown at me, but another story. But what else is there other than domestic abuse? What other topics are near and dear to you? Because you mentioned a couple of them.
Well, I think one of the things I'm really keying on right now ties back to that message on Saturday at Jesus Christ Church.
That was powerful.
I think that had I been loved, I'm probably going to cry.
Yeah.
Had I been loved when I was growing up, maybe I would not have married my first husband. Maybe I would have had a sense of confidence or more self-esteem in who I was to where I wouldn't ever have allowed that in my life. So to me right now, I think there's a lot of kids, a lot of people who don't feel seen or validated or loved or heard. And I think the world needs right now is just a good old healthy dose of love and compassion and understanding. And that's kind of the emphasis right now in my life. I'm very passionate about young people, very passionate about the elderly. They're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they need to be cared for and protected and loved on.
Well, I think that there's a song that came out years ago, excuse me, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And I agree with that. And let's talk about that in a moment, because I have some other thoughts I want to share with that.
Yes.
But we got to go to commercial break. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins.
Real Talk with the Jenkins. We'll be right back after these messages.
My name is Travis with Grace Transmissions. Here at Grace Transmissions, we have a reputation for customer service, and we've been serving the San Angelo area for over 45 years. Our focus is you, the customer. So whether you need a diagnostic check or a complete transmission service repair, we're here for you. Grace Transmissions, where service meets quality, and that's our #1 priority.
We are here when you need us.
Gray's Transmissions, 1202 Pulliam Street, San Angelo. Are you ready to produce your own TV show? If it's a television commercial you need, then the Gospel America Television Network Studios is the place where your visual vision comes alive. You can meet with your production team in our warm and comfortable suite. And then You can start the production process using our green screen digital technology. Your broadcast will air on Roku, Fire TV, and online. We produce many types of TV commercials, like the Auto Pros Body Shop. Maybe you're looking to produce a medical commercial like the office of Dr. Peter Chang. Pastors, you can produce your broadcast airing on Roku or Fire TV. Call 203-410-6053 for studio booking. The Gospel America TV network. And now back to Real Talk with MJ and Dr. G.
We're back. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady and Jen.
And we are the Jenkins. And somebody who's not a Jenkins, but she's almost a Jenkins because we've adopted her.
Yay,
And that is the mayor of Ballinger, Dawni Seymore. Hey, daughter.
Hey there.
That felt good to see that.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, you talked about love before we went to the break. You talked about love, and see, to me, love is colorless. Love has no gender. Love is love. Because love is of God.
Right.
And love comes from God. And if any man says that they love God and they don't have love for one another, they are a liar. And the spirit of truth is not in them, according to what the Bible says.
That's right.
And I believe in the Bible. What do you think?
The Bible cannot lie, and I truly believe that when you love it does cover a multitude of sins.
Wow. Well, I didn't know what love was either in my younger years. And when I prayed that God would bring someone to me after I did leave my first husband, I asked for God in a human person as a special gift just to me. And we were kind of having it out a little bit one day in my car.
Here we go.
And we were just having a go. And I was duking it out with him verbally and saying, why? And this, I want this, I want that, and I need you. Because I didn't trust that I would be able to pick the right person, because statistically, if you've come from an abusive situation, you're going to choose that same thing. I had 3 babies. I didn't want to choose that again for them. So I asked for him in a human body as a gift just for me. And then I, that very day, answered a phone call. And it was a man named Matthew. And we ended up getting married 6 months later.
Oh, wow.
And when I asked him what his name meant, he said, my name means a gift from God.
Oh my gosh. And you asked for a gift from God.
I did. I asked for a gift from God.
And when you been married now?
We've been married 13 years now.
Wow.
Yes.
And what does his name mean?
His name is Matthew, which means a gift from God. And then my name, because he had married twice his first wife. He married her twice. And when they finally divorced, he asked God for something brand new. So he laughed when I told him why I asked what his name meant. And so he goes, well, what does your name mean? And I said, my name means a brand new day, a new beginning. And so he laughed because he asked God for something new. And so we both got our prayers answered. Wow. And you know, I'm from Oklahoma, so we're a lot of farmers and ranchers, right? So we call our trucks our horses. And so in my little conversation with God that day, I said I wanted a knight in shining armor to come and get me on his white horse. And he lived in El Paso at the time, so he had to fly in and stayed with his brother and borrowed his brother's truck to come pick me up for a date when the first time we met face to face. And he was driving a white pickup truck.
Oh, this is just too much.
So
props to you, Matthew.
And so so back to Matthew is, I didn't know that I was lovable, right? And I came from this terrible, it was so bad, this relationship really chipped away at who I was. So when I met Matthew and we started dating, he reflected back to me my character and my gifts and the beauty that he saw. Mm-hmm. And really, when you are married to the one that God has brought to you, they reflect back to you how God sees you, the truth of who you are through Jesus. And that's what Matthew does for me, and that is my version of agape love.
Wow. That's awesome. And I think that's where we need to end.
Okay.
Because greater love, there's no greater love than that.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
And I tell you, man, it makes me want to just show more love to my wife today. Amen. I like to tease her sometimes and sing that song from the Bodyguard movie. And no, stop. I don't want to.
You got a good voice there. You should keep that going. That's a great song.
Well, I love the song, but you don't love the way I sing it. But I did sing Unchained Melody to her from the Righteous Brothers.
Yeah.
When we got married, I played the piano and I sang the song to her, and she loved it. And every once in a while, I'll play it again. We went to Benwood Country Club out here, and I played it. And of course, to turn the joint out, everybody came out looking. Not that we were trying to do that. It's just that I was being silly. I like to have fun, and so I sang my song to her.
I bet it was nice.
It was.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But you know what? I want to thank you again, both of us. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us on Real Talk with the Jenkins. We're going to have you come back because there's too much of you. It's so easy to talk to you, and you have so much information to share. And you know, a half hour just doesn't do it.
You're right.
But we're going to get you back because, after all, we're family now, right?
That's
I
right.
welcome you as my daughter.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know, welcome.
I love you guys already, and I mean it. When I say I love you, I do mean it.
Well, we know that. We feel that.
And God put us together for a reason. So.
Yes, He did. And we want you to know this. I know a lot of times people come to you because of something they want, but we want you to know if there's ever anything that we can do to support you in whatever you're doing in Ballinger, let us know.
Okay.
And we'll be there. We'll help you get the word out.
If you need to get it filmed,
You've got a project going on, and you want you want it videotaped or whatever. Call us.
I will be calling.
Well, thank you so much, and we want to certainly thank all of our viewers. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We want to thank our sponsors, and remember this: love. There's no greater force on earth than love, right?
amen.
All right. I want to wish every woman out there who's a natural mother or a spiritual mother or adopted mother, a grandmother, all the mothers in whatever form they are. Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you from Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins.
Broadcasting worldwide to every nation, this is the Gospel America Television Network. Broadcasting to every nation on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and online at gospelamerica.net.